Hey there, Michelle. How's it going?
Good, Lindsay. How are you?
Good. Michelle, I have a question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
do you have a particular grocery store that you are loyal to? Is there a grocery store that has your heart?
Mm. Well, okay. So yeah, it's funny. I feel like the ones that have my heart are not the ones that I go to on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah, that makes
Do
sense.
right?
Mhm.
So they're kind of the special ones. They might be a
Yes.
little further away, not right there, because there are always the basic ones, maybe 5 minutes away.
Sure. Mhm.
And that's like the everyday ones, but the special ones that have my heart, I would say, are Trader Joe's, and I do like Costco. What about you? Are you
Ah.
loyal to any?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I like Costco a lot. I don't go very much. I don't have a membership, but
Mhm.
sometimes like I'll sneak in under, like my
Yeah.
mother-in-law's membership or something,
Yeah.
when I get a chance to. But I like to try to walk if I can to my grocery store. So there's a King
Yeah.
Supers just down the
Mhm.
road. So I try to go
Mhm.
there. But yeah, Costco, you love it. I get it. I get it because who doesn't? Who doesn't? Who doesn't,
Yeah,
Michelle?
no, exactly. So today we're going to answer a listener question about Costco.
Yes.
And this comes to us from YouTube. But Lindsay, do you want to read the
Yes.
question for us before we get
Yeah.
into it?
Yeah, this question comes from Hamza Larifi 7092. And Hamza says, "Thank you for such an amazing podcast. Could you do one episode on Costco word? First time I heard it, it's not clear to me, so I would love to use it." So, Michelle, we're just assuming this listener is asking about just Costco, and we're going to talk a lot about the Costco effect. Talk a lot about this global phenomenon of
Yeah.
Costco, right? And
Yes.
what it means in American culture versus, I have some observations from living abroad, grocery shopping, how it happens, when it happens, very different around the world.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And so to this listener, if for some reason you were intending to ask a different question, please feel free to write to us again and we'll try to answer that question. But hopefully we got it.
Okay.
And thank you so much for that question. So I actually recently became a Costco member.
Ooh, congratulations. You'll have that membership
Thank
for
you.
life, Michelle. Life.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, my mom is a huge Costco fan, and she wanted to buy it for my family as part of a housewarming
Oh,
gift.
that's cute. That's nice. That's a nice
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah, yeah. So I was telling Lindsay before the episode that my mom really loves Costco. There are people who really, really love it.
There are. Yeah.
You have pretty people. If you there, Costco is not something where you just, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
No, yeah, you don't you also don't casually wander into Costco because it's usually in
Right,
a kind of rural
it's
suburban
an
area,
event.
drawn out. You have to drive, you have to take a big car to fill it up. It's not just a window shopping thing. "Oh, I happened to stumble into Costco, picked up a few
Right,
things." No, no,
right,
no, it's a commitment. You probably
right.
strategize around what time you go.
It's so true, and that's why it's so different than, like, I go to ShopRite. Okay, I had to pick up milk and a few
Yeah,
things. Costco is you're not gonna just go to Costco to pick
right.
up some milk.
Yes, 100%. But
I mean,
y
unless you live next to the Costco, I guess, but most
yeah.
people don't live next to the Costco.
And I love that Hamza asked this question because you're right, Michelle. It is a huge connection topic in so many ways. Yes, it's just a grocery store, but it's so much more than that because you have already in this episode shared your mom's thoughts on Costco, which brings up your own memories of childhood and your
Mhm.
current exchanges with your mom now. I mean, she's gifting your family this. It's a big deal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's true. This is definitely a huge, huge connection topic. And I was telling Lindsay that my mom, even to this day, whenever you ask her, if you say, Mom, I love this, she'll say, Oh, Costco, honey, meaning like I got it there. And so I was telling Lindsay that she always says Costco, honey. And so my nephew thought for the longest time that it was actually the name of the store was Costco, honey.
Well, that
So
could be a good name, I suppose.
yeah, Costco, honey. Or maybe if you get honey at Costco, then yeah.
That's hilarious. That is
Yeah.
so funny. Oh my god. I mean,
Yeah.
so what's the big thing? Let's get to the heart of it. We know we've looked this up a bit. Looks like Michelle, you did a little research. It looks like
Yeah.
the Costco's all over the world, so we feel pretty confident that you all are going to resonate with this. But what is the big thing that's different about Costco versus, the grocery store down the street? Like what's the point of Costco?
Right, to buy in bulk,
Mhm.
right? And I think
Yes.
we've talked about in bulk in the past, but we're gonna mention it today. So in bulk, what does that mean?
In bulk. Yeah, it's a great one to know here. It means in large quantities. So again,
Mhm.
instead of buying one thing of soap, you would buy a bundle of 17 soaps
Right,
until next Christmas, right?
right.
So yeah, it's a buying in bulk thing, and the idea is to get things cheaper per unit.
Yes, exactly. It's a pretty big cultural phenomenon, and people have pretty strong feelings about Costco. I think.
Mhm.
I think it
Mhm.
was even on an episode of Seinfeld once. It makes its way into pop culture. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
But Lindsay, you also wanted to talk about something called the Costco effect. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I think this is out in the zeitgeist of our culture that people mention this. The idea that
Hmm.
maybe you go and you say, "I'm just gonna." Maybe some people will go to get one thing, but they buy it in bulk, and then they come out with a whole shopping cart full of stuff. Because it's just the idea that things are cheap. Things are cheap,
Hmm.
so we buy more of it, even if we didn't necessarily need it. So the key here is that you need a big house to be able to store all these
Right.
things, right? So this works better in more suburban areas and rural areas than in the city because I mean, like just not having enough storage, right, to be able
Yeah.
to store things. And also, I want to talk a little bit, Michelle, about grocery shopping habits. I mean, how often
Mm.
do you grocery shop in American culture? When do you? Yeah, how often do
Great
you?
question.
Yeah. Hmm.
I just moved,
Yeah.
and I used to live, oh God, this has been one of the hardest
Oh.
adjustments. I used to live right next door to the grocery shop. So just even at 10 o'clock at night, if I needed something, I'll just run over.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. The closer you live, the more frequently you go.
Sure.
So you
Yeah.
might just shop for that night. You might just shop for,
Exactly. Yeah.
a couple
Hmm.
days at a time. Now that, I mean, the grocery store is a 5-minute drive away. So yesterday I popped in. I just needed a few things.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah.
I would say once to twice a week I'm in the grocery store. I'm not doing like it's still fairly frequently, but not. I used to just
All the
go in
time.
there
Yeah.
all
Kind
the
of like
time.
part of your night, right? Part of your
Right.
evening. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
have to be a little bit more thoughtful about it. Not too much. It's not like it's an hour away or anything, but a little bit more thoughtful about it. What about
Yeah.
you, Lindsay? How often do you go?
Yeah, similar thing. So we go on Sundays. We do a big trip on
Mhm.
Sundays, which is what I did when I was growing up, which I think is kind of the typical American like
Mhm.
layout. Is most
Sundays
people
like
go to the
the
grocery shop and fill up your cart once a week. And then we'll
Mhm.
also, if we need something, we'll go to the one locally down the street. So we'll drive to the one on Sundays and then walk to the ones, in the evening if we want to add something to dinner or something like that. But the reason I'm asking this, Michelle, is when I lived in Japan and when I lived in Paris, I noticed that things were really different.
Mhm.
The grocery shopping seemed to be happening pretty much every evening when people were
Right.
getting off the
Right.
train because the grocery store was the smaller shop in between the train station and
Right.
people's apartments.
Mhm.
So what does this mean? Getting fresher food,
Right.
right, is really interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think there's a maybe more of an emphasis on freshness.
Freshness. Yes. Mhm.
And well, like for me, I mean, yesterday, for example, I bought salmon at the
Mhm.
grocery store, and it was, then Dan later said, "Oh, should we go out to dinner?" I said, "No, I have salmon." because
Yeah.
I'm because once I waited, I got salmon, and then by the next day, I said, "Okay, we'll have it in like a day or two," and it
Oh,
was
no.
already spoiled. And so I
No,
guess
yeah.
I have this idea in my head with salmon that if you get it, like you have to have it.
Yeah, kind of. I agree with that actually.
Yeah,
So
salmon is like an immediate, like we're having
yeah.
it tonight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think Costco makes sense in American culture. I mean, shopping once a week, but I do kind of wish that we had more of a culture of shopping daily. I don't know. I don't. I mean, it is what it
I think
is.
it
We are
depends where
how
you
we
live.
are. It depends where
Yeah,
you live. Yeah. Maybe if you're in
but
a more
I
urban
agree.
environment, like you were saying, you would go and grab stuff every night. Maybe
Mhm.
that happens more in an urban environment, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so I was curious about if Costco is popular in other parts of the world. So
Yeah.
AI gave me some results.
Yeah.
So it looks like the U.S. and Puerto Rico, 614 warehouses.
Wow. Yeah.
So there are Costco's in Canada, Mexico, Japan, the UK, South Korea, Australia, and
See,
Taiwan.
See, it's interesting that we're so even in Japan, where I was mentioning where I observed a lot of small, tiny grocery stores, there's still space for a Costco effect, like a Costco type of store for bulk
Hmm.
buying, even though the apartments are very small. So I'm curious about that actually. Maybe we'll have to put
Hmm.
this into a poll question today somehow, Michelle.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So anyway, the listener is asking about Costco. So we're going to give some words. We already started a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we did in bulk. So I like
Mm-hmm.
to shop in bulk so I don't have to do shopping more than once every 3 weeks. Woo.
Wow, that would be amazing. I just don't know how that's possible because you have
No,
to
I don't
get
think.
fresh things like milk, right? I don't know, maybe, but
This
so
person is really living on the edge.
really living on, and people will do this now too on Amazon. I mean, it will be interesting to see how Costco does. Amazon also does a lot of people buy in bulk on
Right.
Amazon, right? Buy 17 soaps instead of, like I said. Samples are
Mhm.
another thing about Costco
Mm.
that's actually so important that
That's
we have to
yes.
mention. Michelle, what about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Costco is famous for its samples. So I mean, yesterday I was at ShopRite and they had one little table of samples and it was just like, oh, a Costco wannabe. And
Yes.
sometimes you'll see even Trader Joe's does samples, but nobody like does samples like
No.
Costco.
Yeah.
They all around the store, they have counters with samples to give out. And it's like, I mean, you can get like the other time I was there was like spaghetti and sauce. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
real, it's good stuff.
Real samples. They do everything big, let's say, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's always an exciting part. I mean, you can go over there and you can basically have a whole lunch on
It's
samples.
true, and I think people probably do, so people
Oh
probably
yeah,
do.
it's great.
Here's a sample sentence. So I'm heading over to that end for the samples. I'll catch you later. Yeah, and so when people talk about Costco, they're talking about kind of an experience
Right. It's not
of
a
getting
regular,
samples. Yeah,
yes.
it's not a regular, I'm gonna go to my whatever no-name grocery store. It's Costco. It's a big deal in our
Right.
culture, okay? The
Right.
samples, the bulk buying, the deals you're getting, how big
Yeah.
your cart gets. I mean, how much you have in your car when you come home. It's a big deal.
Right. It's an event.
Yeah, yeah.
Or then you could say great deal because they do have some good prices. So you could say, I got the greatest deal on yogurt
I mean, I'm sure they have great prices, right? Because if you're buying so
in
many
bulk. Right.
of these things, it has to be a good price. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but you do need a membership, right? So that's our next
Yes.
keyword. I think our listeners know it, but here's a sample sentence. I'm definitely going to renew my membership this year. So I don't know what it costs for a Costco membership these days, but it's probably worth it if you go every week and save a
Yeah.
ton of money, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. And then they have different plans. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we got the basic and then we upgraded because we realized that financially it actually made sense to get the
Yeah.
more expensive plan. It's funny how that works out.
Interesting. Yeah.
Um, and then I
Mm-hmm.
thought we would teach big box store. Would you say Costco's a big box store?
Yeah, I think it is. What is a big box store, Michelle? Let's define that first.
To me, big box store is like a Walmart.
Mhm.
Just like let's look it up officially. Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked it up and according to investopedia.com, the first one they list
Walmart.
is
Yeah.
Walmart, Home Depot, Tesco, IKEA, and then it says
Target.
Costco and BJ's are the original big
Oh,
box.
interesting. So the idea
Low
is it's
prices. Yeah, so
low
this is
prices.
investopedia.com.
Large inventory, like pretty much
Mhm.
everything you need,
Yes.
you could get at a big box store, low prices, but and usually always a franchise.
Mm.
No, not much character most of the time. Although
Right,
Costco, you could argue,
exactly.
does have that character as we're talking about, just because it's such a phenomenon. So I know big box stores aren't charming, but they can be a lot of fun if you don't get overwhelmed. Do you get overwhelmed when you go to a place like Target or Walmart or something, Michelle?
Yes, I do. I'm very overwhelmed. I can only do a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's a lot for me. What about you? It's crowded and
Um,
sometimes it's hard for me to make a decision and things
yeah, it
like
depends
that.
on my mood when I go in. Usually I know what I need, and if I can't find it right away, I get annoyed. So I start kind of
Yeah.
pacing. I was trying to figure out,
So
read the
so big.
signs, like where do I
Yeah.
go? I just need a Tupperware, and where's the Tupperware?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
that can get frustrating. But yeah, I've had it. I mean, just as far as a connection topic, this is huge
yeah,
because
yeah,
I mean, I just a couple weeks ago I was at the park
yeah.
and I was talking to my son's friend's dad. I mean, all about Costco. He
Yep.
was going on, and we were just having so much fun in our conversation. So this is just it
Yeah.
really is something people talk about.
It really is, and I'm super curious if that's unique. As we said, Costco is global, but is it such a hot topic globally, or
Interesting.
is it
Good
more of an like
question.
Americans like it because we get the deal and we like to buy things in bulk? Or I'm really, really curious. So I think maybe
Yeah.
that will be our poll question today, Michelle.
Yeah.
Is Costco a connection topic in your culture, or is there something else that does that for you, like
Yeah.
another type of shopping experience? Let's go into a role play, Michelle.
Let's do it. So, Lindsay, we are at Costco. So,
Of
get
course.
into
All
the
right.
Costco spirit. Okay. So, we're friends who run into each other at Costco. All
All right, here we
right.
go.
Here we go. Hey, Lindsay. Good to see you.
Hey, I didn't know you had a Costco membership.
Yep. I just got it. Love it so far.
Oh, me too. Let's walk over there and get some samples.
Okay. Yeah. I started coming here because now with my family, I need to shop in bulk.
Perfect place to do it. And you get great deals here.
Yes. I love it more than other big box stores.
It's my favorite. Maybe we should get lunch here after?
It's so affordable. Yes.
Okay, now let's get the samples first. Oh my gosh, that's so
Okay.
funny. They do serve meals in Costco too, I guess? Is that
Yes, you can.
yeah,
It's a you can get a hot dog
hot
if you
dog.
like hot dog. You can get a hot dog and a drink for $1.50, I think,
That is
and you
so
can get
cheap.
pizza and something. It's like there that you can get a bottle of water for 25 cents.
Well,
You
I mean,
know,
and yeah, and I think this is especially relevant now. We've just been through a roller coaster of inflation,
right?
right? Inflation was as high as 9% in the US and higher around the world. We know that.
Hmm.
And so it becomes even more relevant, this kind of cost savings to people, right?
Hmm.
Those
Hmm.
prices aren't going back down, but if we can make sure they don't go up as much, we can enjoy still buying further in bulk and saving even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So I run into you and you said, I didn't know you had a Costco membership.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a special club.
I'm in a club now. It's a big deal. Um, and I said, "Oh, me too. Let's walk over there and get some samples." All right, it's all
Hmm.
about the samples. It
Yeah,
it becomes a
exactly.
social thing too. We're gonna go together and get the
Oh,
samples, and
let's
then we're
go
gonna
get the
stand by the
samples.
sample table and chat. Oh, it's so
Yep.
funny.
Yep,
Um,
exactly. And I said I started coming here because now with my family, I need to shop in bulk. So I'm saying I need
yeah,
25 soaps, basically.
exactly. You need 25 subs. Yeah, and then I'm saying perfect place to do it, and you get great deals here. Yeah, yeah.
And I said, yeah, I love it more than other big box stores.
Mhm. Yeah, interesting. All right. So this is a great topic. It's also related to another one that we did, which will be our listeners' next stop. What is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Guys, head on over after this episode to episode 23, 22. That was Do You Doom Spend? Connect over this topic in English.
Yes, that's a good one. Any
Mhm.
final takeaway for our listeners today? Where do we want to leave them?
Well, I would like to dedicate this episode to my mother.
Oh, that's so
So
sweet.
yeah, I love you, mom, and yes, this one goes out to you. But just for everybody else, I just wanted to say that it is a really good connection topic. It seems kind of silly that this would be
Yeah.
such a connection topic, but it really is. Like, I mean,
It,
at least where listen, it might not be in other parts of the world, and that's what we want to find out from you. But in the U.S., generally, it's a big connection topic. You can just bring it up, and somebody will say, "Oh."
someone will have something to say. Exactly. Yeah, I especially for our listeners who are moving to the US, as you know, internationally, if you're working here, relocating here, be ready for that. Know that might come up, and we're gonna check out the poll after this episode, and we'll see if we can get some answers from our audience, Michelle. Very
Awesome,
excited. All
love it.
right. Well, you have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.